Coming to you from the one, not the one more. That's the second time in a row I've done that. It's the Illegal Shift Studio.
You can call it the One More and I'm Out of Here.
It's the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast.
Starting off with the bang.
Is that the name of the studio now? I'm confused.
No, you started calling it the Illegal Shift Studio.
You told me that's what it was called.
No, I said the show that I do, the sports show, is called Illegal Shift.
Why would I call it the Illegal Shift Studio?
Dan, there's many things that you do that I don't have an answer for.
Second that.
You can call it's a One More and I'm Out of Here studio.
I mean, it's been a long time now.
Yeah.
And I just let you go with it. You're
Well,
like the dog in Christmas Vacation where he's under the table.
The first time I said
you might as well just let him finish.
It's a nice plug, so that's why.
Yeah, it works out. It's getting a name out for both.
Yeah,
so
it's okay.
No harm, no foul.
Then what is the name of does the studio even have a name?
Yeah,
Pappas Studio.
Yeah,
no.
You have fallen and hitting your head, sir.
One.
All right, so it shall be said, so it shall be done. It is the One More and I'm Out of Here studio.
I don't like that.
The Illegal Shift
podcast
happens out of this studio. How's that?
I like the Pappas Studio.
I don't.
Okay, well.
I like the Illegal Shift Studio.
Okay, well then keep calling it that. I don't care.
I just thought
it doesn't bother me one way or another.
Can I vote on this? Can we get a vote?
So
I don't know yet.
The last couple of shows, we started off the shows with a little video from.
Don't. Jesus Christ, I swear to God, I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna use your knife right there. I'm gonna grab your knife. I'm gonna stab you.
I'm kind of liking this trend that we're on.
That's fine.
It's almost like my bad teacher trend.
I feel like I'm just getting the shit kicked out of me every show.
I actually sent
you're the biggest shit talker
I sent this to
Andrew.
Kiefer a few days ago, and I actually forget what this individual is bitching about.
Oh,
but
I remember.
This is a little bit of a twist because this is, initially it may not look like a former girlfriend,
love interest, whatever.
But we'll explain after we see the.
I can't wait to see.
We'll explain after we see the video.
It's only because Dan can't remember exactly what he sent me.
Roll. I remember what I sent you. I just don't remember all the content there contained there. Oh, that's that.
Oh my God.
Hey, my fellow
shit, I saw that.
So men think they own you. Take it from somebody that used to be a man.
Used to be a man.
You got boobs. You got a vajayjay. Guess what, honey? You own them. Trust me, they want it. Make them earn it.
Oh my God.
There you go, Andrew. Did you earn it? Did you?
Here's the
true
thing.
words are never spoken.
Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing.
Make them earn it.
I saw that video and I was like, fucking Carol is gonna grab this. I didn't even send it to you.
Oh my!
I saw it. I go, this is somehow going to show up on the show, and it's going to be tied to me. That's just wrong.
I giggled my ass off when he sent it to me. I was like, I know exactly where he's going with it.
Who do you think that guy voted for?
Oh my God!
Jan and I talked about it beforehand. The amount of whiskers on the 7 necks that guy has.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I could say something, but my parents are listening, so I'm not going to say what I really want.
I guess the video is fairly, self-explanatory.
It is.
That's a shit nightmares are made of.
Oh,
make them earn it.
Yes. He's whatever it is.
You've got to. Hey, around here we say you got to earn that front hole. Everybody knows
the
that.
Front hole.
Yeah,
yes, you brought back the front hole. Good work, sir.
You got to earn that front hole.
Jeez.
I don't know if anybody
parents listening, but that's okay. Sorry, Mom.
Well, you're the one that told them.
That's how we roll.
Well, they want to listen.
I don't know your parents. I didn't give them the YouTube site. You did.
They call every couple of days. When's your next show?
I love them. I mean,
awesome.
God,
what was your mom's name again?
Harriet
and Spiro. Yes, I love
sitting on different iPads in their house, probably 20 feet apart, listening to the show. It's pretty cool.
So I don't know if anybody's going to notice.
God bless the Pappas.
It's a little bit different. Andrew brought us a camera mount, and we raised the camera up a little bit. So
I didn't ask. Did you get a blister?
No. I
did that all on your own.
Bing, bing, bing. Done. Was done. Jiffy quick.
220.
And it's level.
It is level.
It's level.
It looks great. The improvements to the studio are amazing.
They are abound.
We have some lighting improvements coming soon.
Yeah. It's going to be different because we have to look a little bit higher for looking right into the camera. That's all. That's what I'm noticing. Because I have to sit here and look at the computer, and I look down. I'm like, oh shit, I'm just.
No, I think it looks great. Hopefully the camera is nice and cool up there. It'd be great.
Pappas,
Make
thank
them-
you for
make
bringing.
them earn it.
Thank you for bringing the
Fuck it,
That's
I'll
why
camera
the
man
Pappas studio.
in the vajayjay. God damn it.
Jesus.
We've got
Oh
a
my
ton to cover,
God.
boys, but obviously let's get to
It's going nowhere up but here.
that's right. But let's get to what the
You want to talk about that breakup?
Are you two gonna stop?
Was it a hard one?
Not for long.
Oh,
There's nothing hard about it.
That's so gross.
It's so gross.
Can you imagine being captured in that dude's basement?
It puts the lotion.
Yes.
That's,
I'm gonna make you earn it.
Oh,
I'm not gonna just. let
I
it
would
go.
rather start a shotgun.
I think I'm gonna take back our Oscar
And
because
see-
that shit is just wrong.
And just let me sort of tie things together here a little bit.
For fuck's sake. Jesus.
Some of the people that would be featured a little bit later in this podcast will tell you that if you refuse to date that individual we just saw, then you are transphobic.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you're the bad guy.
yeah,
You're the one with the problem,
So, yeah,
right?
right,
Yeah,
right.
You're the one that deserves to be in a mental institution, right? Okay, yeah. And that's got, you know what? You raise a great point. That is how twisted this crap has
Yes.
all become. How backwards the last 4 years of the Biden administration and the radical shift to the left of the Democrat Party has taken. It's instead of simply coexist, right, or just respect. If somebody, look, my personal opinion, hey, look, if that thing wants to do that and that's where they are, I'm cool. I'm, whatever, live and let live. That's really my motto for a lot. But what is the problem where they take the next step? They want to control your thinking. So you're the one with the problem. If you don't look at that and say, oh, what the hell is that? Right?
well, I mean, in some places in this world, it's criminalized
Mm-hmm.
to, I guess, not think otherwise, but to express that opinion.
What's that word?
Otherwise.
Groupthink?
Yeah, groupthink.
Groupthink,
It's a
right?
terrible thing.
Remember groupthink? I mean, people might want to read a little bit more, but this is where the Democrat Party and liberalism has taken us. That it's not good enough that they are allowed to be that way or live their lives the way they see fit. It is they take it to the next step where you're the one with the problem. If you have an opinion, you're not allowed to have an opinion, and that's my problem.
Well, it was like Riley Gaines when she was forced to share a locker room
Mhm.
with that dude and
Oh,
the other female swimmers who were in the NCAA tournament that year. They essentially said, get over it.
She was the one with the problem, and all the other
Yeah.
swimmers were the one with the problem. And
Yeah,
You're a lot of-
you're the weirdo. At
Same
that point.
thing with the girls on the San Jose State volleyball team.
Mhm.
They were told, "Hey, deal with it."
Right.
You got a biological dude in there.
Mhm.
Says he's a woman.
well, we have
Yeah,
this.
it's your problem.
We
Deal
have a, and school boards have members. We have one locally that don't think that's a problem. They think that it's okay for boys to compete in girls' sports and for them to be in girls' locker rooms. I think that's a big problem, but that's for the voters to decide. I think that if I had I'll put it to you this way: I feel bad for anyone that has in any school district where this stuff's going on, that has a daughter or a wife or a sister or whatever, and this is occurring. How is that fair? And the Democrats, there was a lot of protests, or not protests, but demonstrations this weekend because apparently it was International Women's Day. Maybe you saw my post about it regarding.
No, I missed that.
You missed that? Did you miss my International Women's Day post?
Oh, I can.
How
only
many
imagine.
days ago was that?
Like it was it Saturday?
Yeah, it
or
was
Sunday?
It was Saturday.
Saturday or Sunday.
What was I doing Saturday?
I don't know,
what do
you
you
might
think?
have been doing a radio show.
I did do a radio show on
There
Saturday,
you go. Well, it dealt with
and I didn't recognize International Women's Day on Saturday.
well, it just here's my post for International Women's Day.
Oh, I did see that.
That is classic.
Go ahead and
So-
describe it, Andrew.
It's classic.
How should I describe that? I mean, if you ever heard the phrase,
Anyone that has a female driver in their family knows exactly what that is about.
if you've ever curbed your tire, How about that?
So
And destroyed your rim.
a hell of a scraped rim.
And more than once,
Yeah,
like repeatedly. And that's a joke. Let's be fair. That's a joke. Everybody curbs their tires at some point. So it was a joke. It's funny that
It is funny though.
It's funny
Did it blow up on you though?
No, because a lot of people that know me and follow me, they know that it's a joke.
They get it.
I mean, it's humor, unless some leftist. And it's funny. I have some leftists.
When is International Men's Day?
We don't get one.
Don't get one.
We don't
Okay.
get one.
All right.
But
Just that
we
tracks.
it's funny how they don't have a sense of humor. And somebody commented misogynist, and I'm like, do you not understand humor? Can you just take a break for a second? Can you just drop the shoe that you're chewing on and take a break and laugh a little bit? But whatever.
That reminds me of a blonde joke I heard one time.
Oh
God, here we go.
No, this one is harmless. It's
Okay.
totally harmless.
Okay.
I mean, we've
We
heard a
shall
lot
see.
worse on this podcast, so I'm not concerned. I'm just concerned you're going to get in trouble.
So a few years ago, a buddy of mine was
Here we go.
a manager. You know where Gabriel Brothers is?
Yeah.
Yeah, was a manager at the store there. And we were talking one day. We're having a beer over at the lounge, and he says, this weird thing happened today. I said, what's that? And he says, well, it's about the, it's almost closing time, and this gal walks in and says, can I have a hanger? And he says, well, yeah, you need a hanger. What do you need it for? And she says, my keys are locked in the car. I'm going to try and get use a hanger, right? And this goes back, if the new cars today,
the old days, you can't do that, right?
So this goes back when you used to be able to hanger and grab that hook on the side.
Did you just throw up on the fucking?
No, I just burped a little bit.
Nice.
So
Said it couldn't get any worse.
So he says, yeah, I'll get you a hanger. So, he gives this blonde gal the hanger, and she walks out of the store. So, he's so like I said, it's closing time. He's, doing all his duties for closing time, closing up everything up. And he walks out in the parking lot. He's getting ready to get in his car. And he looks a few cars over, and he sees this gal out there, and she's still, fishing that hanger down there through the window. And so he walks up to her and he says, how's it going? She says, she says, I'm so close. I almost got it. And he said, and then I looked in the car, and he said, there was another blonde in the car saying, just a little more this way, just a little more this way.
Good.
So there you go. That's my blonde joke.
Remember, any feedback, send it to.
It's harmless. It's funny.
One more, and I'm out of
I
here
know.
at gmail.com.
It is.
Joe Billy said, I've checked more curbs than I care to admit. So she gets it. She at least gets it.
That's why I've always when's the last time you saw a car with curb feelers on it?
Oh, God.
Well, I haven't been to South Central.
1970.
I haven't been to South Central LA in a while.
Do those things actually work?
Fuck, I don't know. I don't even know what the point.
Do you know what a curb feeler is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a spring loaded projectile or
So we make the joke.
extension.
We make the
sticks out.
joke. My ladder truck at work has marker lights that shoot down at a 45 degree, and they look like curb feelers. I'm like, oh, look. I'm like, oh, we're right out of South Central, but it's marker lights that let me know.
So I guess the idea is you start scraping up against a curb.
You're
Those
close.
things hit first, and they start making a noise, so you're.
I don't know. I literally don't have that issue.
Yeah. All right,
I know how to drive, and I know how to use my mirrors.
good point.
I barely use the backup camera in my new truck.
That's not true.
That's
You probably rely on that.
no, absolutely not.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go.
It actually fucks me up more.
I'm gonna go put a piece of gum over it. And
Go ahead. Dude, when it rains and it's shit, you can't see out of it anyway.
That is true. It's wintertime is hard.
I was taught to drive using your mirrors and driving fire
What
trucks
if you
for a
put
long
little
time.
picture? What if
You like those low tech ways of fucking.
What
with
if you
people.
put a little picture like of a clear, like of nothing back there, and you just stuck it over the camera? Just waited.
It just looks like an open field.
yeah, right. Somebody's back-
Oh my God, it doesn't look anything like this downtown parking lot.
It fucks me up more just because I was driving an
Oh, my
04
God.
F-150 up until a year and a half ago.
So this new technology is taking you some time.
Yes.
Well, I will say that the curb feelers, I've seen them at car shows when I used to go to car shows, and there'd be some cars there. The 50s and 60s had some of the loaded cars had them, and they're cool, but yeah, they got out of hand in the 70s. They were like pimp daddy.
Did you have them?
No. But there were some cars that made some comebacks at the car shows, but I haven't been to a car show in forever.
Would it just do the scrape? Like you would just you just
scrape.
You just hear it?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. I was like, I never understood what the actual. I knew what the term was. I understood the purpose.
Well, also,
what are you actually getting out of it?
Well, also some cars, especially in the 70s, if you've seen a loaded caddy like a Coupe de Ville, the more shit they could put on there, the better. Like, so there's shit all over the car.
It'd be like one of Afroman's cars.
It's
exactly what.
God, we got to get that guy on the show.
Well,
man.
that's your job.
I know.
We've been working on that.
Okay, so it's been a, we sit here and we were here Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah. So we were like, what is it? We said at the end of the show Friday, something's going to come up this weekend that we'll have to talk about. And I mean, it's been raining for us. I mean, we've had a lot of good stories to focus on. And where are we going to get started today?
Let's hit this one with the thumbnail was about.
JD Vance.
The fact that our vice president,
our homie, JD Vance,
can't even walk down the
was
street.
in town. Yeah, lives in town.
I was trying to.
Do you know where his house is?
Yes,
I know where it is.
I was trying to figure out where he was at walking though.
Stalker.
Because the video that we're going to show, I see storefronts, so I'm wondering if it was O'Brienville, because I know that's.
I'll tell you,
in that
see it because I haven't seen this video, but
in that vicinity, but I don't know exactly where he was at. Well, here I'll go back. I'll pull the article back.
Well, if you go up the hill there,
but we'll premise it. So Vance is walking with his 3-year-old toddler, and there was a group of pro-Ukrainian protesters that were on their way to a protest, and just so happened to bump up on JD and his daughter and the Secret Service.
No, wait, well, that's not true.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the articles. The 4 articles that I've read. That's what it said.
That's not. Well, there was an organized because I have the flyer.
There's an organized protest. They were on their way to it.
Okay, yeah, there was an organized protest at his street because they knew they couldn't get close to his house.
Yes.
So, and they were organized at the
not
corner.
Wrong.
Well, ish, because the protest was at his house. So, I mean, he was there.
When you watch the video, he's not at his fucking house.
I know, but he's right up the street. But I mean, it's not like they were just going. I mean that sounds a little bit. That's a little bit not correct because it's not like they were just going to, a cookie festival and then stumbled upon JD Vance. They were going there to
but they were at the corner of Columbia and William Howard.
They were at the corner of Columbia and Taft, and I wish that I had at that. As I discussed on my comments on my thing, I wish I had a diesel, and I wish some good Americans showed up with a diesel and just rolled coal on these people. And if you don't know what rolling coal is, if you've ever seen a diesel just belch black smoke out while it's driving, you could have smoked these people to Kingdom Come, because they were right on the corner of Taft and Columbia Parkway with their flags. And let's watch the video.
For those that don't know, Columbia Parkway is a major thoroughfare with a side street.
Divided. It's almost a divided highway. I mean, it's 2 lanes plus a turn lane in them. No, not all of it, but yeah, it's a big lane.
When you watch the video, and I'm fairly familiar with Cincinnati, but I can't figure out where this is because this is nowhere near William Howard Taft and Columbia Parkway. So, where you say that I'm a liar, Andrew?
I didn't say you were a liar. I said the article was not actually factually.
There you go.
Correct.
This is a little long, but this is the video that we were able to get, and I want the entirety to go because people are going to bitch if we cut it off early and say that we're only cherry picking the shit that we want. So this is almost the same YouTube video. This is actually a little bit longer than the YouTube video that I found, but this was on TikTok, and it's the same. It's the same thing, but I like pulling them off TikTok and showing them this way because it's easier.
Tiki Talk.
It's better than sharing a screen.
Selling them out. Absolutely.
Respectfully, I disagree. I think what we're doing is we're actually forcing a diplomatic settlement. If you talk to Joe Biden,
in Ukraine benefits. No one.
Do you think Russia can be diplomatic?
And you just put the ally?
And this is about a separate country, and I don't think our investment in that country can go on indefinitely. I understand the disagree.
You're forcing to settle.
We're forcing both the Russians and the Ukrainians.
Russia won't settle.
Exactly. They certainly invaded Ukraine in 2022. 2022.
And
But there needs to be a settlement. Ma'am,
We are the aggressor every time.
ma'am, I understand that that's your view, and certainly they have, and certainly I have condemned, ma'am, please, you're interrupting. I'm speaking with you, and I'm trying to be respectful. I have condemned the invasion, but I've also condemned the perpetual. That is the policy of the administration. And I've talked to you guys now for about 5 minutes. And what I, ma'am, now that's a different question. I'm happy. Would you like me to talk about how I've changed my view on Donald Trump from 10 years ago? Because I talked about it a lot during the campaign, and then the American people voted and made me the president of the United States.
You've got no integrity.
Some
Integrity in our viewers are not having any integrity.
What I expect my kids. It must be nice to go through life and see that everybody who disagrees with you has no integrity. I have more respect for you. But ma'am, look at my 3-year-old daughter now, and I told you, I talked to you for 5 minutes, and now I did not agree to have my 3-year-old to have people run around and yell at her. And I did talk to you, and I had said, if I talk to you for a few minutes, will you leave my 3-year-old daughter alone? And you said yes. So I'd like you guys to respect that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So I got some comments. And here's the comment. Are we frozen?
No.
The kid is in a stroller.
Yeah. So is that a problem?
No, when my kid was 3 years old, I had him walking.
Well,
That's a joke. I'm joking.
Okay. Well, here's the deal.
Not everybody's as good a parent as you, Dan.
Go ahead. This
So
is
here's
You
my
forget
problem.
your computer cord.
this
Surprised
is
you
a
didn't
good,
forget
this is
your
a
kid
good
somewhere.
conversation starter.
This is where I've seen comments. Now, I encourage everybody at their leisure, correct pronunciation, to go to the major news network sites here in at least Cincinnati that covered the story and read the comments. The comments from the leftists they infuriated me because here's the overall theme. And the one screecher, Karen, she said, well, you signed up for this. When he said, look, first of all, I respect the hell out of the fact that JD Vance, they knew this protest. It was 3 days. It wasn't one day. They had Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They were out there. They organized with their I shared it on my page. They had the communist fist up in the air, the typical communist bullshit. And so they went out there. JD Vance did not run away from them, did not hide from them. He went out there and said, I'm going to talk to you guys. Will you respect the fact I got my 3-year-old daughter here? Now, I know someone that was there in a professional capacity, and that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want the person to get, doxxed at their job and affect their job in any way. And what I was told by someone that was there professionally, not just as a casual observer with no real axe to grind because they were there professionally. They said that it wasn't, and the article said that they were jeering him. Well, jeering is a nice way to say they were yelling expletives at him. They were calling him a coward. They were saying he was a traitor. They wouldn't stop and screaming and yelling. And I respect the fact that he engaged them. He tried to be respectful. He tried to have a dialogue with them. He actually tried to go back and forth with them. And then they just wouldn't stop. And you know what? I don't blame him for saying that shit people following him around, yelling crap at his daughter, because you don't sign up for that. We used to have a policy. There used to be an agreed upon, I don't know if you would call it a rule. It wasn't really a rule, but it was just agreed upon that you left the kids of the elected officials alone. You never really went after people in front of their kids. You never involved their kids. How many times did we hear about Chelsea Clinton when she was growing up? Need I mention the Obama daughters? We just left the kids out of it because they didn't sign up for it. Well, apparently to the left, that rule doesn't apply anymore because Donald Trump is a bad man.
Well, just on that note about leaving the kids alone,
I posted his ex comment up on the screen.
That's been that's been an unwritten rule of politics for God knows how long that you leave the kids out of it.
Exactly.
And I found it interesting that when people were talking about Hunter Biden, there were certain parties on the left, certain news outlets on the left that tried to invoke that, saying, well, this is Joe Biden's child. That's unfair for them to.
How long are you a child?
He was in his 50s, for God's sake.
50s, for Christ's sake.
So that's a slightly different thing. I just wanted to make that.
Nobody in the video interacted with the kid.
Yeah.
One of the typical one of the people that would make the comments on there just commented on our feed that nobody interacted with the kid. Well, you didn't see the whole thing.
We don't
and
have
you
the
weren't
whole
there.
video.
There is no whole video, and we weren't talking about that particular instance. But
Well,
as
JD
he
Vance makes it clear in his post that the going after the kid and the frightening of the kid happened before.
Yeah.
He tried to engage.
But you know, listen, here's the deal. The guy, you know, you won't get this from a leftist because they're blinded by their blind rage against Trump and Vance to a large degree. He's a traitor. He's a sellout. No, I find it funny that somebody in that crowd calls JD Vance a traitor. What is JD Vance? Is he a veteran?
Yes.
Yeah,
Did he serve this country?
absolutely.
But
Marine Corps.
But he's a traitor.
Semper Fi.
I'd like to remind everybody on the left that considers him a traitor. You know, you can go enroll in the Ukrainian army. Yes, I mean, you guys can volunteer and go
They'll
over to
take you.
Ukraine. They will take anybody. Matter of fact, we have videos that I've shared with you guys of them physically taking a lot of people in
If
Ukraine.
you're tall enough to reach a trigger, they'll take it.
So, you know, feel free if you want to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, that's the one we
And
decided not to.
you're labeling people, you know, traitors because they disagree with you politically. He came out. You won't get this from the left. Let me ask you this. Would you see Kamala Harris having that interaction with anyone in the public?
Absolutely not.
Anyone that disagreed with her?
No way in hell.
No way in hell.
No way in hell.
So there is no quid pro quo here, and there is no acknowledgement that the guy came out, tried to have a discussion, said, hey, we disagree. I'm just giving you my position. And then she pivots to, well, you called Trump Hitler. And he's like, well, that's a different subject. I think the problem is he is too smart for them to acknowledge he's talking to them, but they don't understand it because they're not smart enough to understand the level he's at. I'm not saying he's a genius, but he's a lot smarter than I am. And he is definitely.
Oh, you just opened yourself
I know,
up.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
But here's the deal. He's smarter than listen,
I care
I'll tell you
about
this.
you.
No. He's smarter. He's not. I mean, he just is so well spoken.
Yeah.
And he reacts to situations like me or you or any of us in that situation probably would have gotten pissed off and started yelling, right?
Well,
He kept his cool.
I probably wouldn't have been able to keep my cool.
He's
I
smart enough
know
to
me.
keep his cool. I wouldn't have kept my cool.
the thing is, I keep going back to this, is that when he ran for the Senate here in Ohio,
right,
and this was after he had said all the terrible things about Trump, and he was a never Trumper and didn't like Trump and everything else. It was open season on JD Vance for every news outlet in the state of Ohio
Absolutely.
to call him on that. And he subjected himself. He didn't hide from the press.
No.
He engaged the press every single day. And when you run for the Senate in the state of Ohio, there's 88 counties in Ohio. You are visiting every single county. You're going to every single news media market. You are giving interviews to every local TV station.
Mm-hmm.
So 5, 6, 7 times a day, he's doing one-on-one interviews with different reporters who want to make their mark and say, well, JD Vance, you said Donald Trump was, this, that, and the other thing. And so by subjecting himself to that, he has perfected the ability to explain himself. And look, when I was one of those, when JD Vance said he's going to run for the Senate, I remembered all those things he said about Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I am not, I'm not jumping in both feet for this guy.
Right.
And I heard him.
It was an arm's length.
I heard him on multiple occasions talk about, yes, he owned it. I said these things about Trump, but here's why I don't believe that
so
now.
You wanted an explanation.
Be right. And that's his explanation. I looked at Trump. I saw his policies. I didn't think he was going to live up to them. But then when he did, then, I can deal with reality. Then the reality is this. Trump is this, this, and this. He said, I bought into all the prepackaged stuff that came about Trump. And he admitted he was guilty of that.
Okay.
And so he gives a reasonable and logical explanation for why he felt about Trump the way he did, and then how he came to realize the error of his ways and why he changed. That whole thing about, well, you said this about Trump, that's water under the bridge. That is not going to work.
Well, that's all
trying
they
to trip up JD Vance.
Listen, that's all, and it doesn't trip him up because
But how well has it served him that he opened up himself
very well
to all those questions?
very well
repeatedly.
because he's fleet of foot. He thinks on his feet. He has a great recall of facts and instances.
He very easily being back in his hometown.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, whether he should be here or not, it's his house. Hold on, just let me finish.
Go ahead.
People are gonna argue just like they argue with fucking Trump, flying back and forth to fucking Mar-a-Lago, not being in DC and whatever. This is his home. He should be able to walk down the street. Now, he very easily could have told the Secret Service, I want no interaction with anybody. And you have to run ahead of me and fucking block people out.
Absolutely.
He opted to not do that, and he engaged. And I appreciate that.
Oh, it goes unappreciated. And what you said, the only problem I have is when you said right, wrong, or indifferently. He is allowed. I mean, he has children. They are allowed to come home and experience their home. I mean, think of the transition for a child at that age to be like, okay, we're moving, boom, we're gone, and they don't know anyone there. I mean, coming home has to be comforting for them in some level. So, I heard people complaining. It's funny how the liberals are. They love to just. It's always a one-way street. Oh, his street's going to be blocked off. Oh. Get ready for. They acted like it was.
They stopped traffic. I was late. I was an hour late.
I can't go up William Howard Taft. I have to figure out another way around if I want to go get a mocha choca bullshit at some coffee shop. So whatever.
A euro.
I don't think they have euros up there.
Are you kidding me?
Up in O'Brienville?
You can. Yeah, they got euros up there.
You got a euro there?
You get close. It takes you straight to UC. You don't think they have euros at UC?
Yeah, but I mean that's not right there.
Well, that's the way a lot of people go up to UC that way.
Well, I mean, maybe.
But here's the thing: if you live in Cincinnati and you know that we have a vice presidential candidate,
I had a really good one on the west side a few weeks ago.
Oh,
Sebastian's.
Yes.
Hey, guess what? Actually, a friend of mine brought this up. This is a quick.
I knew you went to Sebastian.
We're taking a quick pause in the fact that I am creating a new rule.
What's that? We can't go off on tangents?
Because guess what happens?
Oh, shit. Potted you down.
God.
Dan and I have had this conversation multiple times because I have a friend of mine who listens to the podcast, watches the podcast, and says, does Dan realize that he stomps all over anybody else when they're talking?
No, he doesn't.
I said, I don't think, he does.
Does he?
He absolutely does. I don't think he realizes he does it. So I am implementing a Dan Carroll timeout rule.
But I like
to where,
because
as my buddy told me, I'm sorry the beginning of the middle of your sentence interrupted the beginning of mine and all this shit. I'm just gonna go bink.
God, somebody's power hungry over there. You're getting finger happy.
Well, guess what,
Mr. Finger.
We've had this conversation many times over the last almost 3 years.
But that added spice. I mean, we talked about the local flavor of Cincinnati and the food places.
That's great. Nobody cares because we have a lot of people outside of Cincinnati.
I don't know. I thought it added local
flavor.
Yeah,
it didn't. But
is it pronounced Euro or Gyro?
It's Euro. You want to be in it?
Well, all right. So here we are. Told you this is going to be a game.
This is so great.
It's like the penalty box. You're getting put in the penalty box.
But we'll work this into the whole show. We're going to be having this conversation the whole show.
I thought you'd find that.
Oh my god, that was fun.
But no, I think it's bullshit what happened. But I think he handled himself very well.
He did, and I was going nuts. I went nuts when I saw it. Not nuts. That's a real. I just look. If you've got it was first of all the weather was kind of nice Sunday, but. Could you imagine being a liberal? You've got to sit there. First of all, let's be fair.
I wish I had a picture of the
crowd.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had that.
Well, here's the deal. If I had to guess, it probably doesn't take them long to get ready because they don't have a lot of hair to mess with.
There were like 20 people.
They don't wear makeup. I mean, let's be fair. They pretty much wake up and they sleep in their clothes. So they walk outside. They probably don't brush their teeth. I've seen a lot of liberals. Personal hygiene is not high on their list. So they just wake up and they're like, what are you doing today? And, let's go protest JD Vance's house. I mean, you've got to be such a freaking loser and have nothing more going on in your life that you're like, that's a good, use of our time. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful spring day here in Ohio. Let's go stand on the corner of Taft and Columbia and
eat exhaust, essentially. Without Andrew fucking
rolling coal.
But,
I know.
But still, you're standing on the side of it, like you said, almost a divided highway, just fucking watching cars go by.
Just sitting
holding
there.
a sign.
And for those of you who don't
Good for
know,
you. I mean, you could do it. I mean,
have
that's
the
your right.
there's
Whoa.
a stoplight there at Taft and Columbia,
There
but
is.
when the light is green going, and essentially you're going east to west and west to east on Columbia Parkway. When that light is green, cars are passing by at about 50 miles an hour,
60 miles an hour.
or more than that. Yeah.
60. But here's the deal.
Any protest you're going to have is loses a lot of effectiveness
Jason,
when cars are zipping by at
Jason
50
said
miles
something,
an hour.
and I want to comment on this. You do have the right, but just because you have the right
Doesn't mean it's right.
doesn't make it right, and that's the whole thing. And I will ask you this: I mean, just if Bill Clinton or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden at their home, I mean, I couldn't find, if I called up a bunch of my Republican buddies and said, "Hey, Kamala Harris is here this weekend. Let's go stand outside and protest." I probably couldn't find 5 people. They'd be like, "Look, I've got shit to do.
I've got better shit to do.
I've got shit to do.
I'd rather go to the bar and drink beer
Well,
and
I
fucking
just-
hang out with my buddies.
I just have stuff to do." But that gets back to my comment on the show earlier.
Play golf.
Because liberalism is a cult. The cultists bowing at the altar of their religion have no problem marching up there and all culting together and being cult members. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, I believe you're absolutely correct.
So there you go. I could see 513 just marching over there and just being like standing out there like an idiot.
Well,
That's
there
just
you
me.
go.
Maybe he was out there.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was.
Maybe he was out there with his friend.
Maybe it was.
I remember some of the signs and thinking that one was particularly ridiculous, but I can't remember what it said.
There you go,
Wait a
Andrew.
second. You remember a ridiculous sign, but you don't remember what it said?
I remember thinking that that one is really ridiculous, and I should have sent you the picture, but I didn't.
So some of the comments I've gotten on feeds are well, it's okay because JD Vance is a Nazi. I'm like, okay, great retort. He's a Nazi. That's great. You win.
Oh my God.
You win.
Yeah.
Why is he a Nazi?
End of argument. Boy,
Yeah, you win.
Were we
I
wrong?
can't argue
huh?
with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. All right, so Dan, you sent me this, and I'll let you talk about that.
Oh, well, this is again, this is part and parcel of the sort of things that these people believe. And I was thinking about this the other night. I stopped at the lounge for a nightcap. This was I don't want to talk about the time change for a second too, but
Oh, I'm not a big fan.
I was, because I only had to work 23 out of 24 hours. that day.
I'm so tired of hearing people talk about, we turned the clocks back for an hour. Oh my God. Oh, what are we going to, you know what? The clocks turned back, and this was on Saturday night. No, none of my buddies were up. So I said, I'm going to go to the lounge, see who I run into. I ran into a buddy of mine I went to high school with. And he was out there talking with this dude who was from Germany. And he's got a very thick German accent, and he hates Trump. And he's going, and he's calling Trump a Nazi, and and I said, okay, how is Trump a Nazi? And he says, well, he lies. And I said, okay, what did he lie about? Give me one example. So many things, so many.
Pick one.
Yeah, he couldn't give me an example. And he's going on. And I said, and when I could get a word in edgewise, I said, where do you get your news? Hey, all the big news outlets, all the big. I said NBC. Yes, I watch NBC. I said ABC.
Yes.
I said the New York Times. He doesn't read.
CNN. CNN.
Does he not know how to read? Or he just
CNN,
chooses not to read?
MSNBC.
MSNBC.
So he said, I hate Fox News. I hate Fox News.
Yes. One out of how many? How many stations at one station making all their misinformation? We got to get them off the air.
Oh God. So
That's how you spent your night arguing with a German.
So anyway.
in a bar.
So I was there for about an hour, maybe a little over. I had a couple of Budweisers, sang one song on karaoke.
Oh,
You
good.
did?
That
And then-
boy.
well, yeah.
What was the song?
Summer Wind by Frank Sinatra. That's one of my go-tos.
There we go.
It's one of my go-tos.
And got home.
Songbird of your generation.
I see that. And I got home, got in bed, and of course this was, the clock jumps forward an hour.
Right.
So got in bed, lost an hour sleep time, woke up, the sun was up.
You're like, what the hell?
I was like, wow. And guess what I did? I got out of bed. That's it.
Well,
It started my day like and I went down and a lot of the
did
clocks.
you reprogram all the clocks in your house?
Well, some of them change automatically,
Mm-hmm.
and then I changed the one on the oven and the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you were
changed-
good. You didn't.
I
miss
went
anything.
around Sunday morning and did the exact same thing.
And
Joe
I
was in
didn't,
bed. I changed every.
didn't complain about losing an hour.
I'm not complaining per se,
Didn't
but I
just
will say
shrugged
this.
it off, and then
Listen,
we had to go play golf. And I play golf.
I get it. It's not the biggest thing in your life, but I just was like, just pick one. I don't really care. Just pick
one and stay with it.
Stay with it.
I
I
don't
really
know why
don't
we
give a
can't do
shit.
that.
I just want to pick one and stay with
Yeah.
it. My problem is I was like looking at the clock and I was like, man, it just doesn't feel like 12 o'clock. I mean, by the time I looked up Sunday morning, the day was half gone. I was kind of pissed off. So that was about it. I mean, yeah, it was only an hour, but yeah, I want my dogs are now off. My dogs are now off. And I just want to, it's hard to tell a pet that the time has changed, but I just want to pick one.
I was actually pretty excited because I was like, oh, I'm at work. I only have to work 23 hours today. Technically.
Well, I
got off work an hour earlier. I was like, "Ooh, woohoo, get to go home."
Everybody,
Nice.
It is funny seeing some of the comments. Everyone's like, "Well, now I'm going to be an hour early everywhere, or an hour later." It just depends on what time of the year it is. So I just like let's just make it easy. Pick one, go with it. Let's just be done with this. I don't see the benefit. But.
Well, okay. I just want to respond to 513 real quick.
No, I thought we had a rule.
Do we have a rule?
We had a rule.
It's more of a guideline.
I
than a
actually
rule, isn't
see
it?
where I have the option to put him in timeout,
Well,
which I didn't realize.
It's funny that he's come back on the show because he's been gone for quite a while.
So he says, where other people get their news is wrong, you, and referring to me, know the truth. Trust
It's
only
us.
the
It's
ones
us.
that say good things about your guy. Well, since E513, you missed the point. Because when this guy was ranting about all manner of things as it relates to Trump, as it relates to our current situation politically in the United States. And so when I asked him where he got his news, at that point he was ranting, raving about Ukraine and Zelensky and all the rest of it. And I said, and I was just trying to, he doesn't like Doge either.
Of course not.
I was trying to ask him. I was trying to reason with him, which was the absolutely wrong, the wrong, the wrong play.
I do have a huge statement after you're done. Huge statement.
But he said something about Zelensky, and I said, well, let's stop right there. Let's stop right. I said all the money that we have sent to Ukraine. I said, has all that money gone to where? I said, has all that money gone, where we expected it to go? Is it all being spent in the right way? Well, those Ukrainian people need it, I said, do you know that the majority of that money hasn't even shown up? They don't even know where it is.
They don't know.
And oh no, that's not true. That's not true. And then he says, why are you telling? How do you know that's true? And I said, well, Zelensky said it himself.
Yeah, he did.
And this guy's like, no, he never said that. Never said that. Well, of course. So 513, this guy only gets his news from MSNBC, all the major networks. They don't cover that story.
No.
Right.
They don't cover that. They don't cover that part of the story. They don't tell the American people that. There are so many things that happen in this country that do not get covered. And look, I look at CNN. I look at MSNBC.
You watch The View?
I do not watch The View.
I think you watch The View. You look to me.
That is a complete and total waste. I don't even play clips from The View on my show.
I'd rather hit my dick with a ball peen hammer than watch that.
I've got a
fucking
rule.
show.
There's a hammer in the garage.
I'll go get it.
Because they're so predictable. They're so inane. They're so stupid. I mean, you are dumber for having watched The View.
I bet 513 watches The View.
Maybe he gets his news from that.
I think he gets.
But that's my point. So go ahead and criticize me because I watch a lot of Fox News. Go ahead. I don't care. But the thing is, if I'm going to have a conversation with someone who doesn't watch Fox News or who doesn't look at alternative news sources,
Other than
then there's going to be a lot of things that are factual that I know that they choose not to know, and that is not presented to them on MSNBC or ABC or CBS or you name the network news outlet.
Well, let's take, for example, the story about Vance. I mean, you had to, for example, in none of the broadcasts and none of the stories that I've read online or seen in the paper does it say anything about the fact that people were, using curse words in front of his kid, yelling, but it just says jeered. Well, I mean, I got to be honest with you. Unless you were there, and I have sources that were there that I know personally, as I've said, and not participating, the people were out of line, and you don't hear that. It's just the way the press skews the reporting.
This actually kind of segues into a good one, but
thank you.
Our buddy Dan Varner,
hi Dan,
was in the chats, and I posted his. But Maxine Waters tells Democrats to confront Republicans. They can't help being sore losers, and this is how they deal with their unhealthy, pitiful lives. Yeah. It's the radical extreme left mentality or lack thereof. Ship them to Canada. Bye-bye. So funny thing, when I posted that up, Dan's a big Crown Royal drinker.
Excellent point, by the way.
And
very good point.
He was like, I need to find another drink, apparently.
Yeah, because it's Canadian, right?
And I'm making jokes, but we're sitting there talking, and Dan has been one of our charter sponsors of the podcast for a while, so we appreciate him being in here. But it's one of those things when Dan Varner gets pissed off about something, though,
that's a tall order, right?
He said that today, and I
Dan
about
does
shit.
not usually.
He's like, I'm gonna have to the band's gonna have to start drinking something else.
Well, I mean, listen,
I can't wait to see what it is.
But you remember the video of Maxine Waters doing that, right?
Oh my God! Remember the restaurant?
She said, if you see any of those cabinet members, whether you see them at a gasoline station,
restaurant,
you see them at a restaurant, you see them at a shopping mall,
that's right.
You tell them they're not welcome
That's
here.
right.
I remember. I mean, that's ingrained in my memory.
And they're going right back to it. And how we segue into the other.
And then what about the time when she said, I will go out and take out Trump tonight? You remember that one?
I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, you think I'm lying? Look it up, 513. It's right. You Google it right now.
He doesn't care.
AI it, whatever.
He's
that
not
would,
good.
that would shatter his little world, his glass house that he lives in. Let me ask you this. The Democrats, though, rather than, making any headway with the American public, they're actually going in the opposite direction. The Democrats are in a pickle, and they can't get away from their radical left base that's taken over their party. And part of that was evident today. Did you guys see the video from the Bernie Sanders rally? So let's talk
about
about
a little clip of it.
now. Bernie Sanders.
I was
let's just set
segueing
the
somewhere
stage.
else, but this works,
This works.
and then it'll roll right where I'm going.
So let's just, for those that don't know, I mean, maybe you don't know, I don't know, but Bernie Sanders is not just a nobody. He's a major player, a major participant, a leader of the Democrat Party, and professes to, it's funny how he professes poverty. He has a net worth of over $3 million.
yeah, he's going to give free college.
Hilarious, but and they love to say what a great man of the people he is. His net worth is now over $3 million.
He's an angry real life Gargamel.
He is, but so let's just
What's a
play.
Gargamel?
Gargamel from the Smurfs.
Oh, Gargamel.
Let's just
Every time
play.
I see him, that's what I look.
Not
That's what I
familiar.
see.
This was at
You've never seen the Smurfs?
This was at
No.
today. Was it today or yesterday? I don't remember when. But this was at at a Trump rally. I've been to Trump rally. I don't know how many of you guys have been to Trump rallies. They usually do a lot of patriotic stuff. We say the Pledge of Allegiance. We play a lot of patriotic songs. God bless America. God bless USA. All that shit. This though is where the Democrat Party is. You want to roll that tape?
Yes. Oh, I would love
It's
to.
video, not tape.
It's on tape.
It's not on tape.
Shut
It's digital.
Shut it.
Cause it feels like he's fucking me. Bar is full, still with lightning to maintain all I can. Cause it feels like he's fucking me. Bar is full, still with lightning to maintain all I can.
I mean, the person I feel bad for there is the sign
person
lady that
signing.
has to be like, did he just say what I think he said? And
Does your God have a big fat dick?
What's the sign language for big fat dick?
I
Oh, did
don't
you-
know.
you-
I don't
you
know.
could have seen it
I
on
don't
the
know.
screen.
That could
but-
come in handy at some point.
It might at the lounge, maybe.
The look on her face was like this. She was like,
Well, maybe that's part of the sign language.
It was fantastic.
So this is where the Democrat Party is.
Catchy,
And,
catchy tune, since 513. Those are your people.
you know, I got to tell you, if you're even, I mean, Jesus, I don't know where to go, but my point here is if you're even moderately, it's just a moderately religious person, and this is the crowd you want to jump in with and say, I'm going to vote for Democrat. Wow, man, I got to be honest with you. It's just, you might want to consider forming a new party. That's it.
Well, and it all rolls together. And like you said, Friday, well, we're going to have some shit. We're going to have some shit for Monday. And we're going to be a few days.
See, don't worry about my unit. It's nothing for you to concern yourself about. I mean, I'm kind of troubled that you're thinking about me in those terms since E513, but who am I to judge? You know, your personal preferences are yours. Just don't involve anything with me, please. You weirdo.
I have this. All right. So you got Al Green, who got censured, and now he's calling fucking discrimination for his fucking antics. And again, I said it Friday. When you shake your pimp stick at the fucking commander in chief, you deserve to be escorted out of the fucking room.
When you don't, first of all, he was warned.
Yes.
Secondly, he kept going. Thirdly, his own statement afterwards said that he was doing it to get censured or get thrown out, and he kept going for that purpose.
Exactly.
So he got what he wanted. He got the notoriety. He got the attention. And now to come back after the fact, I mean, let's be honest. That's the Democrat playbook.
And nobody really gives a shit.
No one gives a shit. I mean, you cry.
I just found it funny.
The boy who cried wolf.
Immediately we cried discrimination.
Well,
we're being discriminated
Trump
against.
didn't care. Trump was going to keep talking.
He was.
He didn't pipe down until the speaker started, gaveling the House to order.
I got nothing. I just would say that, no one cares what Al Green does or says. I just thought it was even more disgusting.
From Pennsylvania?
No, he's from
Texas.
Houston. He
that's
is
right.
the rep
Houston.
for the little boy that has cancer.
Yeah.
And that's the part that pisses me off. That's his representative. That's his rep.
Wow.
And the little kids in Congress, instead of having the decency to be quiet because one of your constituents is being honored at Congress at a joint session speech, the guy pulls that shit. That's the guy that's your rep.
I remember. I'm not 100% today.
That's all right.
I was painting. I hate painting.
I see.
It's not
that paint all over you.
I was painting all day today.
Paint fumes.
Mr. Handy. How many times did I tell you don't use
since
oil-based.
he asked what was your stance when Marjorie Taylor Greene did the same
Well,
thing.
you know what? Let me tell you, Marjorie
She didn't
Taylor
shake
Greene
a
was
pimp stick at the fucking
and
commander-in-chief.
she wasn't warned by the chair to be quiet, and it was pretty much a one-time deal. But who was the guy?
Well, she didn't keep it up
she
until the
didn't.
point where
That's
the
right.
speaker had to
That's
call
right.
the sergeant at arms
they
to
know
remove
that.
her from the chamber.
Since E513 knows that, he just can't be honest. And what about the other guy that yelled "You lie"? He yelled one one time. You lie. I forget his name. He's a Republican.
Yeah.
He yelled "You lie" in the middle of an Obama speech.
Joe doesn't give a shit. Doesn't work here anymore.
Oh no, but here's the deal. He was censured by Congress too for saying one time "You lie" in the middle of a speech, and he was censured.
Joe Wilson,
and
he was
censured,
right,
and he was
Obama
right.
was lying.
He was right, and he was censured the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Where was 513's outrage about that? Oh, it wasn't there because he's a Republican. Well, 513, be consistent. I mean, the one thing you should try to be, besides honest, is consistent. I know it's going to be tough, but just try harder. And I just have this to say: be better. Just try to be better.
That sounds like Melania Trump.
I know it does. She says it a lot better than I do.
Melania's a boss.
That's a
Say it
fact.
in like 7 languages.
But since our buddy Dan Varner was in the chats today, we'll give him a little shout out with the Ohio Valley Productions, which is under the Varner umbrella. And if you've got a party going on, then you need to check out Ohio Valley Productions. We call it OVP for short, and it is your one-stop shop for corporate functions, fundraisers, festivals, even a backyard barbecue. Like we're gonna have a big backyard barbecue, I think, over at Pappas's place.
I love
this
it.
summer.
I love that.
Maybe we'll do a live podcast from.
Yes.
We'll put a half a pig on the
half a pig.
Full pig. You want to go full pig?
Why stop at
Why?
half?
Why stop? Now we're talking.
There you go.
Now we're
But
talking.
and maybe Dan Varner can play it.
That would be great.
That'd be great
That'd be
because
great.
you were talking about top talent, live acts, DJs, karaoke, and more, and quality entertainment. And his team really has the most experience in the business, and they put it all together to make your event the one to remember. So if you have a vision for a great time, make it happen with Ohio Valley Productions. All you have to do is drop an email to Dan at OhioValleyProductions.com. That's Dan at OhioValleyProductions, all one word, .com. And then you too will rock on and have a great time.
No NMLS number.
Correct.
Not on this one.
I don't think you got.
I don't think
license yet.
maybe they'll expand to financial services later on. But for now, it's just partying and having a good time.
Dan is a good man, and you did say that you're exactly right. For Dan to get fired up about something, it takes a while. It takes a lot.
Yeah, and obviously we know we're going to be in a little bit of a tariff war here.
All right, let's get to this video I sent you. This is aerial video. I believe it is from Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And this is video of a very large solar farm, or what was a very large solar farm.
Oh,
an array of solar panels.
I didn't see this.
Yeah, watch the video. Jason's going to roll it now. And you can see, if you look closely, you can see how heavily damaged a lot of those solar panels are.
Ouch.
Pretty much to the point to where they're useless now. How much money do you look? I mean, look at the size of this place.
That looks, you know what that looks like?
This is
farmland.
This is the result of one hailstorm.
Farmland.
One hailstorm. And in Texas, you can get some hail the size of canned hams.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
I'm telling you. Basketballs, maybe.
My arms.
Shit.
Well, we get that here in Ohio. But I mean, look at the damage. I mean, look, and so that solar panel farm is pretty much off the grid.
That is a giant facility.
What do you think the repair costs for that are going to be?
Well, let's examine, where did those panels come from? Can you say it with me?
China.
The other thing is, that's farmland.
Little China.
The other thing is that
it was farmland.
It was farmland. It's not anymore.
But now you've got all this highly toxic debris,
right?
That is going to be embedded in that. So can you imagine what the cleanup costs?
I couldn't even imagine.
Are they? And is there any chance in hell they're going to be able to reclaim that as farmland?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Well, here's the deal. Dan's exactly right, because when solar panels by themselves don't leach until they get damaged like that, and then they leach heavy metals into the soil. I don't really have a big problem with using. And this is might surprise both of you. I don't have a problem if you need, because in Austin the parking lots have solar panels over them because they're just shading the cars. So you're talking about using it for a dual structure. It's a carport. They
have that at the Cincinnati Zoo.
Okay, I don't go to the zoo. Thank you, but
I drive past it.
Okay, but I don't have a problem with that as a use. I think that's a double use. You're using it as a shelter, and you're getting, you said it, put solar panels on roofs. I don't have a problem with it. Farmland, I have a big problem with it, because I know that the farmers are doing it because they're getting a subsidy, or they're getting paid by either a solar company or the government to put them there.
Well, any farmer in his right mind wouldn't give up that land if they weren't getting paid for it.
Correct. And the other thing is, and they're getting paid more than they could, sadly, growing a crop there. But like Dan just said, how are you ever going to clean that up? You're not. That land now is probably irrevocably. Sorry, I'm just fart there.
I got it.
Irrevocably ruined.
I was almost getting ready to roll that one out, but you saved me on that.
Yeah. So I mean,
it wasn't going to end well.
It is.
Oh shit! Dan just had a stroke.
But I mean, seriously, how are you going to clean that up? You're not. It's a brownfield now. So they're going to go pull more panels made in China. And they're going to replace them.
China.
Till the next event that ruins them yet again.
Right.
I mean, look, solar is solar might be a good future at some point once they get the efficiencies higher. But
this is perfect. I don't even know who this is. At
the end of the day.
Sorry, you'll see it delayed, but
anyway, at the end of the day, I don't think that's a good question. Why? He's a masochistic, no life, lonely.
He said, because I'm free to do so.
cats are lonely. I'm not
Absolutely, he is
sure.
absolutely free to do so.
How
And
many
that's
cats?
and,
How many-
and-
wait,
and
seriously,
we enjoy it. And
how
guess
many-
what? It helps our algorithm.
How many
so
cats?
I'm good with it.
How many cats do you think he has? Seriously,
17.
Mr. Bigglesworth.
I don't think he has any cats, but
I think he's probably got 20 cats and a big jar.
he says he has a crush on Pappas.
and
That's
a
why he follows.
big jar of peanut butter.
I have a crush on Pappas.
That's
disgusting.
Oh my god.
Anyhow,
I know we're gonna dial it down, but I know we talked Friday.
everybody
Our schedules are kind of fucked this week, so we're hopefully maybe sometime Saturday will be our next one.
I can't do it Saturday.
Saturday.
It's
Well-
gonna have to be Friday.
It's
Well,
like during my free time.
It's not gonna work Friday because I can't be here.
I thought
So-
you could do Friday.
No, I fucking work, dude. We
Hmm.
talked about this.
No, I thought Dan couldn't do it Friday.
No, that's not.
You know, we should
that's
probably
not
do
the
this
case.
off the air.
I know,
Yeah.
but I like to put you guys on the spot. We actually talked about that. We knew we had today,
Mm.
and we knew it was going to be
Ah.
a few days before we were able to do it again.
Do
So,
people actually remember what we say we're going to do?
well, I post shit on social media
My
to
parents do.
remind, and you don't follow any of our own social media, so I don't even ask you to fucking deal with that.
Before we go, Andrew, can you read this headline, please? I always like to talk about the Doge, and
Yeah.
here's what the latest from the Doge today.
Say Doge says it found $312 million in loans that were given to children during the pandemic. Wow. about 5,600 loans worth $312 million went to borrowers who only listed owner was 11 years old or younger at the time of the loan.
Zoe, where's my money? Where's my money, Zoe?
And think
man.
about that.
Hey, man, let me
There's
tell you.
people sitting around thinking, you know what? Let's just say, what you fill out the form.
I told you.
Let's see if this works.
I told you. That
Yeah.
Borrow his age, 11 years old.
There
You
was
know.
no oversight to any during COVID.
Throw it to the
those-
wall,
those
see if it
PPE
sticks.
loans, whatever.
Born in the year 2010.
Yeah.
Born in the year 2009.
they all they needed was a social
Yeah.
security number.
I need
and they
50
didn't.
grand or 100 grand for this,
Here's the deal.
or 500,000. Who knows? I wonder what the biggest one of them was.
Did you? Did
I don't
you
know
hear-
if the article
did
says
you
that
read-
or not.
Look, Doge is finding
11
money.
years old or younger.
Or
11 years old or younger.
Do you know why Congress doesn't want to rein that in? Do you know why Democrats are so against Doge? I mean, look, Sandra Whitehouse, husband voted to funnel millions of federal dollars.
Oh, yeah,
Senator
White
Sheldon
House. That
Whitehouse.
guy's a dirtbag.
His wife got paid, works for the NGO that got millions of dollars from Doge. I mean, this is how people ask, how do congressmen go to Congress and make 160 grand a year, right?
Yeah.
And then become multi-millionaires. Shit like this is one reason why. When your wife works for an NGO and you're able to give them
Yes.
millions of dollars, that's just paying yourself, right?
Nancy Pelosi does it the old-fashioned way. She just
uses
insider trading.
Insider trading, and then has her husband hit with a love hammer
Yeah.
by his
what a-
man.
Can you imagine?
Because you pulled front hole, I had to pull love hammer. We're fucking bringing it back.
boy,
Bringing it back old
show
school.
we hit everything on the show today.
No, we're bringing it old school.
Oh my god,
Gentlemen,
Oh, my
it's
God.
always a pleasure. We'll keep everybody updated when we're coming back. Hopefully Saturday, one of us, or maybe Pappas and I can do one Wednesday. He cannot do Wednesday.
why don't we do Wednesday and
Busy
Saturday?
on Wednesday.
Wednesday and Saturday. All
Do
right.
Wednesday and Saturday, it'll balance out.
I'm gonna have a
Saturday's my free time.
I'm gonna have a
Well,
small
then don't do
window.
Saturday.
I'm
What,
gonna
are
have
you
a
gonna be at the
small
lounge?
window, Pappas.
I might have to work on
You gonna go
Saturday.
get a euro?
The gyro or euro?
It's euro.
Follow our Instagram, and you'll find out when we're coming back. But
I told
hopefully,
him-
I told him-
Wednesday.
I told him to put everything on it.
You know.